I'm really excited to be here with you guys. My name is Joselit Molero, and I'm going to be your MC for today. So, a little bit about myself. I'm a senior attending University Prep Academy. Are you guys here today? University Prep? Woo! Yeah, I love that school. I'm a part of the Mayor's Youth Council and West Michigan Center for Arts and Technology. And if you guys don't know what those programs are, they're over there. I would strongly recommend that you guys go check that out because they're amazing programs. So, yep. My experience with the Latino Youth Conference, I came here the 11th year it ran. So it was an amazing experience. It was really nice to see the speakers. You guys are doing something a little different this year. You have a movie. But, I mean, this is a great opportunity. This is for you guys. Make the most of today. Network, get your name out there. This is for you. My future plans and my goals, I want to go to college. My #1 choice for college is the University of Puerto Rico. But, yeah, do we have Puerto Ricans here? Puerto Ricans, mi gente, woo! All right, yep. I want to be a counselor. So a high school counselor, that's my dream. And I really want to impact students' lives, so that's what I want to do. So that's me. And we're going to get started by welcoming the director of the Woodrick Diversity Learning Center at Grand Rapids Community College and the executive director for leadership, middle schools K-8, ELL, Grand Rapids Public Schools, who will each present a welcome message for the 16th Annual Latino Youth Conference. So let's get it started, guys.
Good morning, good morning. We apologize for the delay, but as many of you know, it took a little bit of time to get here this morning. So we're glad that you're all here safely. And on behalf of the Bob and Alicia Woodrick Diversity Learning Center and our president, Dr. Stephen Ender, I am pleased to welcome you here to the campus of Grand Rapids Community College. We are really excited to welcome all of you to our campus for the 16th Annual Latino Youth Conference. We've been doing this conference for 16 years, and this is for you. Today is a day to think about and share your thoughts and dreams for your future. These dreams can become real plans and actions that lead you to imagine your future. How many of you are planning to go to college? I want to see all those hands up. There are we have a lot of vendors here for you to learn from, and you're going to be learning a lot of things throughout the day. So we want you to keep thinking about your future as you go on to high school next year and how important it is for you to do very well and to think about college. Take advantage of all the opportunities that you have. Listen and learn. Listen to all of our volunteers and presenters and all of the new perspectives that you will hear. And again, we welcome you, and we also want you to have fun. Thank you.
Good morning. Buenos días. All right. On behalf of Grand Rapids Public Schools, I would like to welcome you to the 16th Annual Latino Youth Conference, El Poder de Soñar, the Power of Dreams. Since you're 8th graders, 8th grade is the transition year to high school. I urge you to use this day to learn and ask questions about your future. I have a few questions that you might think about answering today. Are you ready? Okay. One question might be, what might be your dreams around your future? What is it that you dream about being in your future? What do you want to be? Do you want to be a scientist, a cardiologist, an attorney, a teacher, an engineer? Those are just a few things that you might want to think about. The possibilities are endless. Take this opportunity, like Chris said, to learn, ask questions, think about fulfilling your dream for the future. Because remember, your dreams are attainable. You got to stay focused, and one big thing is stay in school. Have a great day.
We will now have Ms. Sonia Hernandez from the Hispanic Latino Commission of Michigan, who will present a resolution. So can we have a round of applause for whoever's on the stage?
Good morning. Buenos dias. My name is not Sonia Hernandez. That's my colleague on the commission. My name is Armando Hernandez. And let me tell you, I'm so happy to be here with you all. I've seen this event going on since it started, and it keeps growing and growing and growing, and it's all thanks to you. And as I was driving here, I moved away from here about 7 years ago, and as I was driving here, and I saw that snow, and I said, I can smell my West Michigan smell. It was cold. But anyways, on behalf of the Hispanic Latino Commission of Michigan, we have a proclamation, a resolution honoring the 16th Annual Latino Youth Conference. It is signed by Mrs. Mary Lou Mason, the Executive Director, and by our Chairman, Gilberto Guzman, who's walking around somewhere in here, and basically with the names of all the commissioners. And it says that whereas each year, the Latino Youth Conference has become dedicated to the installment of strong academic qualities for the young people in the West Michigan area. And whereas the program donates over $40,000 in scholarships that has been awarded to students in the past 16 years to help ensure them an academic future, and whereas through this program, the Latino Youth Conference is potentially prepping the next generation of college students and allowing them to interact with peers and receive advice and encouragement of current college students, and therefore, let it be resolved that the Hispanic Latino Commission of Michigan recognizes the Latino Youth Conference for its incredible efforts to influence over 10,000 students in West Michigan by promoting higher education among youth. The program has sought to instill the passion for education back into you guys, the young people of today. And therefore, be it further resolved, which the Hispanic Latino Commission of Michigan applauds and commends the efforts of the planning committee of the Latino Youth Conference, as well as their keynote presenters, the Underwater Dreamers, that are featured in the upcoming movie, Spare Parts. The Hispanic Latino Commission asks all citizens to join in recognizing the 16th Annual Latino Youth Conference for its outstanding commitment to our youth, given under the hands on this third day of March, on this year of the Lord, 2015, Gil Guzman, Chairman, Mary Lou Mason, Executive Director. Sí se puede, raza.
What do you guys think about our theme design? What do you guys think? Do you think it's really good? Yeah? Yes, 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 yeah, okay. I think it's amazing the fact that we have such talent among us. So I would like to give a shout out to Lina Gonzalez from Southwest Community Campus. Lena, are you here? Where's Lena? Come here, Lena. Come here. We have something for you. Lena's art design is on the conference program, so let's give a round of applause for Lena. Is Erica Bryant and Karen Castillo here too? You guys can come up here too. Come on. Don't be shy. I don't bite. This is for you, Lena. There's a couple chairs. Do you all have anything to say? Yeah. Say something.
I want to give thanks to my math teacher over there that's standing up. Thank you for supporting me, and thank you for telling me that I can do it and stuff when people put me down. And I want to give thanks to my family.
Yeah, the whole bag is yours.
The whole thing?
I think the whole thing.
And there's a plaque.
Yeah. Teamwork, girl, teamwork. There's a plaque. Is this one? Where's Karen Castillo?
She's right there.
You guys can come up here. Come here. So,
Here's yours. Thanks.
Karen?
Thank you.
My girl's on fleek, girl.
This is yours. Oh, this one's mine.
Okay. Okay, so Karen Castillo and Erica Bryant. So another round of applause for both of them. And then their artwork is featured second place and third place. Beautiful artwork. Isn't their artwork great, guys? I don't know. Okay, so now I'm pleased to welcome Ms. Mindy Isasi from Spectrum Health and the Latino Youth Conference Scholarship Chair to the podium to introduce the Latino Youth Conference 2015 Scholarship recipient.
Good morning. So I have to do a shout out. Who wants to go to Grand Valley in the future? Woo! Go Lakers. I got my Laker shirt on. All right, we are here to recognize our scholarship recipients. And with me, I have Liliana Garcia, who's from Chemical Bank. They're one of the generous underwriters and are a community bank that is focused on investing in people like us in our community. So let's give Chemical Bank a round of applause. We are very pleased to recognize actually 6 people today, 4 $1,000 scholarship students, and then also 2 book scholarships. And not all of them could be with us today, given the weather, but we are going to tell you a little bit more about them. But before I do that, I want to just share some information about 2 individuals that the scholarships are named of. So let me first tell you about Mr. Gil Guzman, and I know Gil is somewhere here. There he is. Wave, Gil. And it's important to think about people who've come before us, so let me share a little bit about Gil. But Gil grew up as a migrant child, one of 8, in Edinburgh, Texas. At the age of 5, he was in charge of making strawberry carriers to the shed and making sure the workers' cards were punched correctly. Sounded like you had a lot of responsibility. Gil came to Michigan in the summer of 1970 and worked in many different ways to support migrant education. And he retired from the state of Michigan after 31 years of service. Gil is a very big friend to the Latino Youth Conference. All the food and the things that you're enjoying today are because of the relationships and the support of the conference. And so we're very pleased to recognize the Gil Guzman Academic Progress Scholarship. So let me tell you about those 2 winners. Levi Stevens, Levi, if you could come to the floor, is a senior at Grand Rapids Catholic Central. He plans to attend Grand Rapids Community College and study applied science and aviation and criminal justice. His counselor noted Levi is a hard worker and serious student. He is now able to realize the success of hard work as he heads to college, and he would like to become a pilot. Maritza Martinez is a senior at Comstock Park High School. If you want to head up here, Maritza. She plans to attend GRCC and study criminal justice. A quote from her recommendation letter states, Maritza has developed from a shy young woman with numerous distractions from education into a strong force who knows where she is going and what to do to reach her career goals. She would like to be a homicide detective. Congratulations, Maritza. So if you could stay up there as we recognize our next group of students for the Roberto Saenz Academic Achievement Scholarship. Roberto was a graduate of Catholic Central High School and Grand Valley State and was a lifelong educator at Grand Rapids Public Schools. He committed much of his work to Latino issues and was an avid supporter of this conference. He dedicated his life and community and promoted Latino education. He's a person whose heart and passion for the underserved was very clear. He was a humble and quiet servant to the people, and we recognize and remember his legacy at this conference. I don't think his wife is here today, but we want to just thank him for his work in the Latino community during his lifetime. Noelia Chavez, if you want to head up here, Noelia, is a recipient of the scholarship. She's a senior at Sparta High School. She wants to go to Michigan State, go green, and study nursing. She remembers attending the Latino Youth Conference in 8th grade, just like all of you, and remembers it as an empowering event. Her teacher says Noelia's maturity and genuine spirit make her an excellent leader, and she would like to be a psychiatric nurse in the future. Congratulations. Diana Hernandez Garcia couldn't be with us, but she is a senior at Holland High School. She would like to go to Western State. She also is on the Holland Youth Council, and she's unsure of where her plans will take her, but she's so excited to see what will happen in the future. So congratulations to her. Next, we'd like to recognize our book scholarship recipients. They will receive $500 scholarships, and this was underwritten, I'm proud to say, by my father, Raul Isasi, who's in the back. He can't see me. So thank you to him for recognizing that students not only need to go to school, but they also need to pay for their books. So Shakira Colon Crespo, if you could come up here, Shakira, is a senior at Sparta High School. She also wants to go to GRCC and study child development. Her teacher noted, I am confident that Shakira will make a difference in this world, and her career goal is to be a teacher. Congratulations, Shakira. Our last recipient is Nathan Graham, who couldn't be here, but he's at Thornapple Kellogg as a senior, and he plans to attend Lansing Community College. He would like to focus on business, and he would like to someday start his own business. So let's give him a congratulations. And I would like to congratulate all the winners again. Thank you to Chemical Bank. Thank you to Gil Guzman. Thank you to Mr. Roberto Saenz family. And please make sure when you are a senior in high school that you apply for this scholarship so you can really capture the power of your dreams. Thank you.
I'd like to welcome Ms. Christina Arnold back to the stage to acknowledge our sponsors and committee members.
Thank you. Just briefly, we could not do this conference without our sponsors. So again, thank you to Chemical Bank for being our platinum sponsor. Clap, clap. Thank you, Chemical Bank. Our gold sponsor is Meyer. And why don't you hold, those of you who have Meyer's bags, hold up those beautiful blue bags. Let's thank Meyer for those. Can our photographer get a picture of that? All those Meyer bags? Our gold sponsors, Grand Rapids Community College, Grand Rapids Public Schools. And our silver sponsors include Davenport University, Harding's, McDonald's Corporation, and Sam's Club. And again, a special shout out to Mr. Gil Guzman. He works really hard in securing the majority of the food that you're able to have for breakfast and lunch. So thank you, Gil Guzman, for your commitment to the conference. Also wanted to acknowledge Sanchez Tax and Translation Services for those wonderful orange pens that you have in your bag that were made specially for the conference, and Comcast for their bags and pens as well. So thank you to all of our sponsors. And I'd like to thank our committee members. Committee members that are here, please wave your hands. Our committee members work very hard throughout the year for putting this conference together, so we thank them, and all of our volunteers that take time out of their busy schedules to be here, our GRCC Media Department, and our Ford Fieldhouse staff. Rick Vanderveen and his staff is amazing to put this on. Again, everybody works really hard, but I really want to give a special acknowledgement to Miss Julie Mushing, who is my co-chair for the conference, and Julie is from KISD. Julie, if you're here, if you can step up. And Jennifer Smith, who works in the Diversity Learning Center, who works really hard on all the logistics as well. Julie, come up here, and Jennifer Smith. And then I'd like to bring Mindy Yasasi back to the podium, because I want you all to know that Mindy worked very hard yesterday and today, and it's her birthday. How about that? Happy birthday, Mindy. So happy birthday to Mindy. And for Julie, and I'm not sure where Jennifer is, but we have some flowers for Jennifer. And next we have, what do we have? Those are our committee members listed up on the screen. And I'm going to turn it back over to you.
Before I welcome our next guest to the podium, I just want to take a moment to let you guys know that you guys are 8th graders, right? Okay, you guys are entering high school next year. Your 9th grade year, you guys are going to be freshmen. I can't stress this enough. Make sure that you guys take advantage of your freshman year, because that is the year that all colleges are going to look at. It's more important than your senior year. It's more important than your junior year. Freshman year is crucial. So look for the GPAs that the college you want to go to is looking for. Look for the ACT scores. Get ready in 9th grade, because it is so important. So that's just my advice. But now I would like to welcome Mr. Gil Guzman, to the podium, who will introduce to you the film titled The Underwater Dream.
So, buenos dias. I didn't hear you. You know, back in July of last year, I was in Los Angeles, California, and they showed this amazing DVD. And it really brought a lot of tears to my eyes after watching it. So back about 3 weeks ago, I'm in Chicago for the United States Hispanic Leadership Institute. Did you write that name down? That organization has given $1.6 million to Latinos that want to go to college. Well, they showed that DVD again. So I know Cesar and Chris and I were in Los Angeles when we saw this DVD. So when we started looking for somebody or something to do to you guys here, we said, why don't we show the DVD? So Chris went out and bought the DVD. So now we're going to show you one of the most amazing DVDs that you will ever see.
They were a ragtag robotics team. 4 teenage boys from Phoenix, Arizona decided to build an underwater robot, just for the hell of it. They took their robot and headed west to a sophisticated underwater robotics competition, up against the likes of MIT.
When we arrived at the competition, I was pretty nervous.
The other robots were like pieces of underwater jewelry.
We looked like the carnival had arrived. Just a raggedy-ass robot.
We were way over our head.
We noticed water in the case.
We're telling it to go forward, and the robot's going sideways, and I'm thinking,
oh my God.
Oh shit, we're out of the competition.
We were all having problems.
My idea was a tampon. This was a do-or-die situation.
MacGyver would be proud.
But the robot was only the beginning.
Who are these punks from nowhere that had no business doing what they do? What is that?
They broke the mold and said, catch me if you can.
It wasn't about building a robot.
The 2004 team showed us that it was possible.
No matter what background you come from or where you are, you can do what you set your mind to do.
Kids at Carl Hayden High School become leaders.
They have a sense of social responsibility that was cultivated as being part of this team.
Knowing you can't do something just because you're lacking a piece of paper is kind of devastating.
What the robotics did to me is to show me, even though that I don't know where to start, I can solve the problem.
We should empower as many people as we can to build great things.
These boys laid a foundation. They inspired those behind them to see that possibilities could exist, to be courageous, to dream, and to fly.
I want to solve the energy crisis.
Make a difference in my community.
Be a computer engineer.
Develop the renewable energy infrastructure.
The next generation of autonomous vehicles.
And make them go faster. Prosthetics for kids.
Discover like alien life.
I want to be an astronomer.
I would like to introduce to you 3 of my best friends. Christian, Lorenzo, and Luis, the Underwater Dreamers.
Take a picture. Take a picture. Okay. They're all better, bro. Doing video. There you go.
Hey,
Okay, so we're the guys from Underwater Dreams. Like we're 3 of the 4 original members, and it's very inspirational in the way that this story has kind of evolved in a way. I mean, we started out like you guys, basically. I mean, we were in a very I got a chair this time. Okay. We were in a very inner city type school, which most of you guys are probably in right now, and our high school has had a very bad reputation for decades. It was very low performing in standardized tests and graduation rates, and all of us kind of got put into the school because that's where we lived. We lived pretty close. I mean, we all lived like a block from the school, and we all wanted to share this story of our success because not a whole lot of schools get this kind of attention with the background it has. I mean, it's 90% Latino, and that was a very low estimate. It's probably close to 97%. And all of those probably live in the poverty line at the time. And this kind of success story has contributed a great deal of attention and positive influence in our community and our school. And so now all these students are coming into, all these 8th graders go into our school now believing that they can be engineers if they really want to, because of the way that they see that we approach them, where we're not asking them if they're going to finish high school. Their parents are wondering what college their kid is going to go to. And that's despite, them being the first person in their family to probably even graduate from middle school.
Yep, all right. So I know a lot of you probably have a lot of questions. So my friend Gil's over there with the microphone, and we'll try to get to some of them. We do have about 45 minutes to answer some questions. So I don't know if anybody has a question. Probably somebody does. Anybody here?
Hey, Cesar, before we ask any questions, you see that guy with the microphone? I would like everybody to give him a standing ovation, because he's the guy that paid for them to be here.
Thanks. So let's get to the more exciting part, now that we have them here, because they charged me. So let's get to some questions for them, because I'm sure that a lot of you have questions. And so Gil, I don't know if you have any questions out there. Right back there. So the question is, what
I don't think he needs a microphone.
The question is, what inspired you to do robotics?
Our inspiration, my inspiration anyways, was our teacher, Freddie Legerbardi. He always showed us that we can do anything we wanted, we set our mind to. I mean, he gave us a problem. He gave us a problem, but he didn't give us an answer. He told us to go find an answer for that problem. So that was one of my motivations, was finding out what he meant by doing something. Go do something about it. Don't just take it out of a book.
Well, same thing with me. The teacher was the guy that inspired me. But in here, I see 1,200 students and about 40 or 50 or 60 or 80 teachers that believe in all of you guys. And I think that should be enough for you guys to go to college. And I wish I had something like this so I could be here and watch this,
Yeah, I've always done very well in school, and it was difficult for me trying to kind of find a way to integrate that into real life, because, you do bookwork all day, and this team kind of gave me the opportunity to actually go out and apply everything that I learned. And from a very young age, I've always wanted to be an engineer, and this kind of reinforced that idea where, education really does pay off. You do learn a lot of cool things, and this way, you actually get to break stuff and put it back together and learn all this new technology. We were an Arizona team doing underwater robots. How crazy is that?
So can you tell us a little bit about when, robotics is something that's not normal to get into. It's not something common. When would you say was the time that you thought, this is really something I'm really interested? Can you think back to a time where that took place?
That would probably be the first day I was there, because they had a lot of the old robots like half put together, and we were taking apart the old robot to scavenge it for parts, and just doing that was a really big learning experience for me. And I was like, wow, this is, what does that do? What does that do? Why is this piston there? And that kind of gave me even the motivation to keep going, because the other older students would be, oh, that's that, that's the battery, that's the control system, don't drop it. And that kind of made me realize that I can actually learn this stuff. I'm not going to be all by myself. I can learn along with my friends too.
Looks like we got one more question over there.
Did you feel like quitting?
What was that?
The question was, did you, during the competition, was there a point where you felt like quitting?
Originally, entering the competition was to learn. And the teachers went to this event where it was in Santa Barbara, so they're like, well, we get to go to the beach and stuff, and everything is paid for, so they get to learn a little bit about the competition. and they come back and they explained it to us, and we're like, well, we'll go there and learn, and next year when we compete, we'll try to get first place or something. So we weren't in the mentality of either quitting or giving up on ourselves ever.
All right, I have another question over here.
Did you guys go to Hooters that night? I was gonna ask that.
I'm not allowed to answer that. You guys are all 8th graders. We actually got invited by the corporate headquarters in Atlanta, Georgia. And after that, we probably got to go to Hooters about 3 or 4 times. And I could say that I cook better food than they do now. So.
We have another question over here.
What do you guys do now?
Well, I work at a regular job from 9 or 5 to basically 1:30 in the morning, doing janitorial service, supervisor at night, and then I do catering on the side with Lorenzo.
I'm the mastermind behind the catering that he does, and we're gonna take a school bus, tear it up, and put a kitchen in there so that we could put our restaurant on wheels and then cater for different people. So we're trying to raise $50,000. And I also work at a high-end restaurant, and it's like a local farm-to-table food restaurant, so it's really good food. If you guys ever go to Arizona, go there.
As you saw in the documentary, my scholarship got revoked due to anti-illegal immigration legislation in Arizona. So since then, I've been trying to raise funds to go to college. Right now, I've applied to several schools. I still want to be an electrical engineer, and I've been applying to schools so I can get some funding to go to college this fall.
Now, that brings up an interesting point. Just because you were in robotics, it helped in other fields. How do you feel that the robotics helped with some of the other fields, like with catering and stuff?
So, I mean, life presents its challenges, and engineering is all about problem solving, as cooking does. And in catering, well, we don't have a kitchen. We borrow everything that we don't own any catering equipment. So it's like, how do you get all this stuff there from point A to point B and not let the people that hired you know that you're having all these problems, because we do, And it's really, really fun, because at the end of the day, people love the food. You get compliments, and then on top of that, you get more work. And I think that's what it is. I mean, engineering is problem solving. At the end of the day, whatever you do is going to be something that you love and wake up to look forward to doing for the rest of your life until you retire.
If you retire.
What would you say to the students who they want to pursue engineering but don't have as much chances in their school, such as programs or things like that? How would you speak to them to help them keep going?
Look around your community. Your community can be a great resource. I mean, you might not be able to get a program you like at your school. Maybe a neighboring school has one, or a community center has one. Sometimes colleges, they'll offer courses over the summer for kids under high school programming. The robotics teams also, they're always great for getting mentors involved in engineering or other fields. So, I mean, you got one robotics team over here on this over there in the corner. I mean, they're always looking to support people, help them out, and share their information.
I mean, these guys are trying to recruit people right now. If you guys want to join a robotics team, probably that's where you're gonna go right now, because that's probably where you're gonna have the best resource. And this organization, this event is geared for that, for your success for later, So.
How did you get money to go to college?
Can you repeat the question?
One more time.
How did you get the money to go to the college?
So there was an original article that helped us out a lot. It was called La Vida Robot in Wired magazine. And this magazine was a worldwide success. So anybody that read the article and wanted to donate money, they started giving it to the school. So all these people send us like $120,000 to help us all out to go to college. At the end of the day, we split out the money, and that was basically how, personally, I got to go to culinary arts and graduate with an associate's degree there. So that helped out. And Oscar and Luis and Christian, we all got a little help and a head start there.
How long did it take y'all to make the robots?
Can you repeat that? We can't really hear you.
How long did it take you to make the robot?
This robot, the competition was in the summer, and they released it around December, around Christmas time. I think it was right after Christmas time. They released what you actually had to build, what your robot actually had to do. But we had Fresh Robotics, so we didn't really get started on it full time until late March, early April, and we had school finals and that. So we didn't really do the hard building until after the school had ended. So we did most of it in the summer. But usually they give you 6 months, which we spent most of that time researching because we could only purchase parts once, and we had to make sure everything we purchased was going to be used because we couldn't afford to buy any replacements. So that it was a 6-month project. About 3 months to actually do the hard building.
Very good. I have another question over here.
Where is Stinky right now?
Stinky is still at Carl Hayden High School. We've kind of scavenged parts off of it now because a lot of those were hard to get. And, it kind of broke during shipping one time, so, it can't really swim anymore. But you saw the robots in the movie. Those were actually those were actually the ones used in the Spare Parts movie with George Lopez and Marissa Tomei, Jamie Lee Curtis. Those are the ones that are actually used in the film.
How did you feel after you won?
We kind of weren't expecting to win, so we were kind of stunned and a little baffled of how did we win. I mean, we were going there to learn, not to win, but we still can't believe it at 10 years now, and I mean, it's still amazing that we won.
Did you have fear during this process?
Yeah, mostly we were afraid that the robot would fall apart and leak. You saw it leaked a lot, and that was a big issue where we were never really sure how well we were doing because this was our first year and we didn't really, the other teams didn't really want to even speak with us. So we didn't really know how well we were doing until we were actually competing. So before that, that's what we kept saying, no, our goal for the year was don't suck, don't be last, beat one school, beat one university, and then you can brag about it forever.
Another fear that my mom had, and this is a little different, it was that I was undocumented. Most of us were undocumented, and going to California was a big issue because I wasn't going to be able to go. My mom didn't want me to go there, so, and that was because we might get stopped and pulled over and something might happen. So besides the competition, I don't think, for me, there was any fear, but that was a primary fear. The competition was secondary.
What's something that you would tell us now to inspire us for the future?
She's giggling. So what is your question?
What's something you would tell us now to inspire us for the future?
What is something that you would tell them now to inspire them for the future?
Depends on what you want to do with your life, but mostly education is something they can never take away from you. I mean, if you're undocumented, you can be deported tomorrow or whatever, and if you get deported, are you going to be deported as uneducated or educated? And education can get you a job anywhere, maybe not just in this country, but anywhere else in the world.
Yeah, it's a funny story. You saw how Oscar self-deported himself. When he applied to come back to the U.S., he got denied, I think, 3 times. So he was in Mexico for a year. If he'd applied anywhere else in the world to go work as an engineer, they would have taken him in a heartbeat. You know, China, Germany. He was actually thinking of going to Germany because he couldn't get back into the U.S. So that kind of tells you how important your education is to other people.
Do you have any wife and family now?
I don't have anybody right now. I have my niece and nephew. If you guys want to see pictures of them, I can brag about them.
I have a baby. Her name is Ariana Love, and yeah, so we're gonna baptize her, and yeah, have a girlfriend too.
I have another question over here.
I think the only one other guy that's married is Oscar. He's got 2 kids. He's living in Montana, working at what's the name? A railroad company. So he's the only other one with the family. He doesn't live in state with us anymore.
What was the cashier's reaction when you bought the tampons?
Cashier's reactions when I got tampons. So I'm in the store because I'm the one that bought them, and imagine you're a 15-year-old and you're like, oh man, I gotta. So you have to get your courage up to go ask a lady that you don't really know what tampon, to buy, and then you go to the cashiers and you're trying to figure out a lie to give her. So I told her it was for my girlfriend. I didn't have a girlfriend then, so it was they just looked at me funny and took my money and told me to go.
When the judges saw it, I mean, it was kind of weird. They had a grin on their face, and it was at poolside. They saw it, and it was kind of puffed up because there's water in the case. They saw it. They kept looking at it, but they didn't want to say anything. They just kept looking at each other. They're like, "Is that what I think it is?" But they never said it out loud till they went back to the judge's pit and brought another judge over, and then they asked her to tell them what that was.
Did your family support you in your goals and dreams?
Yeah, my family's a big supporter of anything I do, so I've always had my family's support and most of my community.
Yeah, my family supported me morally, but income-wise and to go to college, that wasn't possible because I'm one of 5. So they just said, if you can find a scholarship and a way to go to college, I support you. Other than that, I can't help you to go because I can't afford to send all of you guys to college. So that's the only downfall of it. But there's always private scholarships that you can find. There's always other ways that you can find to go to college, and that should never be a discouragement.
Yeah, I was very fortunate, that my parents, let me move back in after my scholarship got taken away. And yeah, my parents have always been my biggest supporters. My mom has always been very proud, and she doesn't act surprised when I win something now. But yeah, I've been very, very fortunate in that aspect.
Did you have any goals? Did you have any more than doing this? Did you have any more goals and dreams?
Do you have any more goals?
Yeah, my goal is still to get an engineering degree. I want to, go to college, get a degree, and move back into my community and start my own consumer electronics company. And I want to be, local. I want to, uplift those students in my community and, try and inspire them to be their own engineers, to be, I want to give them, I want to be in a position someday where I can actually start offering my own scholarships to these students and try and inspire them and, get them to raise the kind of way Latinos are looked at. There's some stereotypes that are always very negative, and I want to make it so that someday when somebody says, oh yeah, I'm Latino, I'm Mexican American, the first thing that comes to their mind is, oh, are you an engineer like all the other Mexicans?
Well, my dream is to be a restaurant owner and give back to the community, cocinando comida mexicana, just cooking Mexican food, because that's my passion, and I love my culture so much that I want to remind people that food is still really amazing, because I love food.
Well, like Lorenzo was saying, I mean, my passion is also like cooking. I like cooking, but I guess one of my goals is to get my family and actually make sure that they can actually accomplish their goals of going to college or whatever they want to do. But it's supporting my family mostly. It's my biggest goal, I guess, my family.
Then you got 2 more questions, one over there, and then
Could you talk about the power of teamwork and how it enabled you to create such a successful design?
Teamwork and how you created such a successful design.
So you're seeing our teamwork right now. Sometimes we don't answer a question, or sometimes we miss something and another one of us picks up the answer. So that's kind of what we've done in the past, and that's what made us successful, is that if one of us doesn't know the answer, the other one of us can work it out, So, and usually we may have differences, we might have arguments, and they're healthy arguments. I mean, you're gonna be arguing about how to design a robot, right? But at the end of the day, you wanna have the best robot it can be, and whoever has the best argument is probably the one that's gonna win with the design of the robot. So that's what really makes a big difference, is always working together. And even if sometimes you have your own differences, you always set those apart because you want to be successful and you have the same goal in mind.
we have one more question over here.
Did you have anybody at school telling you that you couldn't do it?
Thank you.
In Arizona, we have a lot of people telling us we can't do it. Politicians especially. We have a very Republican state, and they can tell us we can't drive. So an organization that we belong to, called the Arizona Dream Act Coalition, sued the governor because that's not right. And that's because we have work permits, and having a work permit means that we can't drive, according to the governor, right? So there's many obstacles that people are gonna put in front of you, but it's up to you to decide what you're gonna do with what people tell you. If it's socially incorrect, you should fight for what you believe and what's right.
We have one last question.
Do you guys have any brothers or sisters that have gone through where you guys have been in the past?
Can you repeat the question?
Do you have any siblings that are going through what you guys have done in the past?
My sister right now just graduated high school. Last year she was getting ready to start school in the fall. My brother is still in high school. He's actually a Carl Hayden, and that's my youngest brother, and that's the only ones I know of that are continuing school.
I'm one of 5. I'm the only one that graduated from college. I'm undocumented. My 3 youngest siblings are from here. One of them is a Marine, and none of them graduated from college. So I've been the example all the time. I have an older brother, and he didn't finish college either. So it puts it into perspective. I mean, it's how society has made it so that all of us are working class. At the end of the day, we do what we want to. If we want to have an education, like I said, I have an education. Now my brothers have an example to follow, and it's up to them to do it.
Yeah, it's just me and my younger sister. She's, she's a U.S. citizen now. She has 2 kids, and I try and, she didn't want to go to college, but I can promise you that all of my nieces and nephews are going to go to college one way or another. That's kind of the way our situation seems to turn out sometimes. That Lorenzo has a daughter; she's going to go to college. That's not even a question now. It might not be something possible for our generation due through a lot of problems, but it's something that we want to instill in our communities and in our heritage, that becomes something that's expected of you. It's greatness.
We got one from a teacher, so.
Oh, okay.
Real quick, I hope the students here see that you are very big role models and that you can prove what you guys did and through those stuff you went through, that you have succeeded and you have shown what they can do. If you can do it, they can do it too.
Thank you.
Boys and girls, it has been Cesar and mine's pleasure to bring these three guys here because to us, they inspired us and we wanted for them to come and inspire you. Because the main thing is, never give up.
So if I could just get one last round of applause for the three gentlemen for coming out
Come
today.
on, how about a big round?
All right. So then next we're going to have a local robotics team come up and talk to you a little bit about robotics. So,
can we get off stage?
Yep, you can just follow Gil.
Hello, everybody. My name is Corey, and I'm here on behalf of Code Red Robotics. Really love the spare parts story. Love everything that started with that. It's great. Code Red Robotics came from very humble beginnings. We started 7 years ago from a group of students in high school that felt disenfranchised by their education and what was offered in their school in regards to technical education that was available. And so they got together and they figured there has to be a solution for this. There has to be a way that we can, learn and actually use the skills that we want to learn. And so what they ended up doing is starting and creating what became Code Red Robotics 7 years ago. And they started very humbly building things from Home Depot, local suppliers, trying to get things donated. And over 7 years, we've been able to actually build something of this scale. So you look at this robot and it looks very refined, it looks very professionally built. But this was actually designed and built by middle school students. So they built this in 2 months. They got the idea for the game was announced and they had 2 months to design and build this. The way that they did it, and actually one of our students right here, Luke, if you want to raise your hand, he was one of the students involved in drawing this robot in CAD, computer-aided design, which is what engineers use to design different machines and things. So we started with that. You get to learn that process, work hands-on with engineers and people in the industry. And so this was started with, they came up with the concept. Then they took that to computer-aided design. They then took the computer-aided design, collaborated with engineers and people to actually have a local company help manufacture these designs. And so what we've been able to do, instead of just being able to, when we started, put together parts that were lying around and resources that we had available, now we've been able to create partnerships with the local community and local organizations to actually work side by side with students to create this. So middle school students, this would be for you, but since you guys are in 8th grade, you guys would be in the high school level. You can see our high school robots over there, and I encourage you guys to look at that as well afterwards. And so Code Red Robotics is a community robotics organization. The students that started it, they didn't have somewhere to go to do these things. And so they wanted to open it up to all schools that are in the West Michigan area, so anyone that wants to actually participate in a robotics program can participate. And so the biggest things that I want you guys to take from this is if you have an idea, you have a dream, you have a vision, you can create it, just like these students were able to create this organization that became what it is today. And then another thing is, if you want to get involved with robotics and technology, we have the opportunities right now. Code Red is a nonprofit making our programs available to any school district in the West Michigan area. We are right now catering to over 16, we have kids from over 16 different schools, and so you guys are more than welcome. I encourage you guys to check out what we have, talk to our kids that have participated in the program, and see what we can do to either get a program at your guys' school or to have you guys join our program and help us with what we're trying to build with the high school level programs that we have. So we have the resources available. So if you have an idea, we have our summer programs, and that's actually connects to the underwater robotics. That's something that's really exciting and I love about the spare parts and that underwater competition. The summer programs that we offer, we have an underwater submarine program, an ROV program. So if you want to get involved with that and learn about how those processes work and get a hands-on experience with that, we have that. We also have programming classes, other types of technical education classes, learning how to draw and actually create these types of things. And so we encourage you guys, if you have an idea, maybe you're thinking, okay, well, I'm not robotic. robotics. I'm not technical. I'm not someone who can do this fancy engineering things. We encourage you guys to come in because this is just the result of what you're looking at. The effort that went into this involves a lot of research, a lot of different marketing, a lot of different graphic design. There's a big, very diverse discipline set that goes into, just this simple robot that you see here. And so I encourage you guys, you have an idea, we have resources that are available. Check out coderedrobotics.com, send us an email. We want to help you guys provide resources and have access to these things. And so in anything that you guys want to do, we have 3D printers, we have everything that you need to be able to kind of create and ultimately do these types of things. So I encourage you guys to come talk to our students, check out, get some information from us and how we can help you guys. We want to hear, from you guys and what you guys are trying to do, anything cool ideas. We also encourage and create partnerships and mentorships with local companies and local engineers to help you produce an idea. Maybe it's not robotics, maybe it's a cool idea for something different. We also help accelerate and encourage and give you guys the tools and resources for that. So just kind of with the whole vision and the whole essence of today, like what you guys want to do, it's possible. You are capable of doing it. These resources are available. Students 7 years ago that didn't have anything proved that by creating this program, and we want to continue that legacy by opening that up to you guys. So thank you guys for having us, and appreciate you guys being here.